Assalamu alaikum, hello and welcome to my show, Connecting with Saima Parwaz. I'm sure all of you are doing great and waiting to see my new guest today. As all of us know, summer has been started and most of us are relocating and moving to the new houses. So my new guest today is Mr. Steve. He's a real estate broker. Hi, Steven. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Welcome to my show.
Thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome. And we're going to have a cool chit chat with this guy. And this guy is very informative in the real estate. He's working in real estate for the last 35 years and helping the communities. We're going to start talking to him. Steven, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you start your career?
Well, I started my career after I finished school. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. I graduated from university in journalism, and I did a little bit of writing and did some different things. I had a good friend that was a lawyer, and he said, why don't we get some people together and buy and sell some real estate. So he had some clients and I had some associates, and we started putting partnerships together and dabbling in real estate, and that's how I got started.
So you are operating your own brokerage for the last 35 years, right? And
yes.
And we just start working together not a while ago.
Yes.
Right? And I have met you a few times. You are very friendly, and at the same time, you are very professional. So tell us a little more about your what you have studied in university.
So I studied journalism in university. I have my degree in journalism. I did some freelance writing initially, and my father saw that I'm working hard because journalism, doing stories, as you know and as you are experiencing, takes a lot of time and research and effort and interviews. And I wasn't making a lot of money considering how much work it was. So he said, you know, maybe I should consider doing something else. And that's how I started into real estate.
That's great. So you have your own firm, right? And you have around 500 to 600 people working for you, right? And I know you have a very strong economics background, and all the agents are getting lots of experience and knowledge from you, and right? So you wanna say something? You have any?
Yeah, I love it. You know, I've always loved economics and studying the economy and learning, and it's a field that's always changing, never the same. And I subscribe to a lot of economic publications that I read, and it's allowed me to share this knowledge with the agents in my office and help them to become more knowledgeable, so that when they go out in the field and deal with the clients, they have a higher level of knowledge. And that's really important today because, as we know, knowledge is power, right? So you can't know everything about everything. So if our agents have a high level of economic knowledge, it helps them to advise clients.
So we're going to discuss some questions afterwards. So first, tell me, I was chit-chatting with you before this program started. You were born and raised here in Canada, right?
Yes.
So what is your little bit about your family background?
Yeah, so my ancestry is from Poland. My grandfather was the town shoemaker in a little town in Poland, and he was the town cobbler. He used to make shoes for the people in the little town, and my father was a little boy and he learned how to make shoes. And then, of course, the Germans came into Poland, and there was the Second World War, and they took a lot of people into the concentration camps. And after the Americans liberated the camps, my family came to Canada to escape all of that terrible war. And the only thing my father knew was to make shoes. So he opened a shoe repair. And slowly it grew because he really knew how to make shoes. And he made shoes for a lot of the retail stores. It was a wholesale, became a manufacturer. And he became one of the largest ladies' shoe manufacturers in Canada. He used to manufacture for Bally's Canada. And you know, he saw me working as a journalist. I finished school and working hard and not making much money for all that work. So he said, listen, you want to write stories or you want to make money? And eventually you get to that point where you decide, you know what, maybe I want to make money. So I started to work with him in the shoe business a little bit. And then I hooked up with a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and we started to put together transactions.
Right. So what was 35 years ago? When did you get your license? Like 35 years or 40 years ago?
Yeah, I got my license in the 80s. I started dabbling in real estate, like I told you, in around 82, 83. And then I got my license about 85. And then I came to Home Life Bayview. And the rest is all history.
But you're very successful, very, very successful. I have before I started a brokerage, I went to a few brokerages, and then I just said, you know, this is for you, Saima. And then, yeah, thank you for giving us all this information. So we're gonna discuss some questions which my audience sent me today, and this we're gonna start with one of my audience. They send me if he wants to, he's thinking to buy a house, right? So he said from where he should start. He's a newcomer. Just 2 years back, he came from his back home. And so what should he do?
So like anything, you can't know everything. And if you do know a little bit, you can't know as much as somebody who does it on a regular basis. Just like, you know, you can't know as much as a doctor. Yes, you can go on the internet, you can say, what happens when my ankles swell, what happens when my tooth hurts. The internet will tell you, but, you know, experience is something that you can't teach. You can't teach experience. You have to earn experience. You have to have experience. So I would say you find a salesperson similar to yourself who you have a chemistry with, who is affiliated with a good company and has knowledge and has good support from their company. And when you find a person like that, they can help guide you, because when somebody's doing a business on a daily basis, their knowledge level is that much deeper and they have more experience to offer. And that's how I would start.
Okay, that's, I hope this is helpful. Is there any best time to buy a house price-wise in entire year?
Yes, so, you know, I mean, buying a house is not like buying a stock in the stock market that you want to buy low and sell high. The economy of a country and the whole world is affected by many different variables, as many as maybe 20 variables. So if one goes up, another one goes down, and you can never know how the combination of variables is going to affect the market. So it's really impossible to predict the market. And you know, if you go on the internet and you see these headlines like say that, oh, next week the market's going to die and it's going to be a disaster, or somebody else says prices are going up, nobody really knows, right?
So we should not listen to other people then?
You can't listen. What I always say is, look, find a house that you like in a price range you can afford. If you're looking to buy low, sell high, and make money and make it like an investment, that's not the approach you should have when you're buying a house to live in. When you buy a house to live in, you buy it for yourself to live. We know from history, in the long term, the house goes up in value from here to here. But it doesn't go in a straight line. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down. But it can go up for 7 years, down for 1 year, and then up for 1 year and down for 7 years. Nobody knows. And if anybody tells you they know, don't believe them, because it's impossible to know. Look, there's wars, Ukraine war, there's world economy, there's China, there's politics, US politics. So there's so many factors you can't predict. But long term, 5 years minimum, guaranteed, price is going to go up.
Right.
It just doesn't go straight up. So if you're thinking to buy now, the best time to buy now, so should I buy now or should I wait till September? Nobody knows. But I guarantee you, whatever price you pay now, in 5 years it'll be worth more money.
So this, you mean the price will be the same, on the same level which was 2 years ago, or it will be a little bit low or high, or we can't say?
You can't say. You don't know. Look, it could be another World War III. Who knows, right? So the idea is you buy what you need for your life, for your family, for your own circumstances to live in. And you don't think of it as an investment like you're buying a stock in the stock market, or if you're buying an investment. This is an investment, but it's also the place you're going to live. So I wouldn't just treat it like an investment.
Okay, another very interesting question. Can we buy a house without any down payment right now? Because I remember in 15 to 20 years back, people used to buy in 5%, 10%, 15%, even in some cases 0%. Okay? But I think what I see around is not possible anymore. You have any opinion about it?
Well, it's not something that you can say yes or no. It's every individual has different circumstances. What do you qualify for? Can you afford a house with no money? And if you can, the bank will give it to you. But just like any lender, somebody's going to lend you money. They want to know that they can get the money paid back. So if I want to lend you money to buy a house without you putting any down payment, I have to know that you can pay it back. If you can show me that you have a good job with a good income and that there's no problem, you could get it. There's no law against it, but you have to qualify. And that comes down to individual financial circumstances.
How much, this is more for the mortgage broker question, but I can ask you, how much do we need for closing cost?
Well, after you buy the house, except for the price of the house, there's going to be legal fees, which can be variable depending on quality lawyers. I mean, just like any other profession, there's, high-end lawyers and there's cheap lawyers, so depending what you choose. But that would be somewhere around $1,000, give or take. It can go $1,500, can go $700. So there's legal fees, and then there's land transfer tax, which on $1 million home, it would be 2%, so it would be $20,000.
So as the interest rates went up, they're like private companies, they made lots of money, right? Because some people, they are not qualified for the mortgages, so they end up having mortgages with the private lenders, right?
Yeah, private lenders will charge a little bit more.
Oh, yes.
Of course, if you are well qualified to borrow and you're safe, then you can get the lowest rates which are offered by the banks. If you're not so qualified, then you have to move up the ladder to more risky. And more risk means higher price. So risk and price go together. The more of a risk you are to the lender, the higher the cost. And if you're really safe, and you're a professional and you have a good job, you're a doctor in a hospital and your income is stable and steady, then you're safe. You can get a good mortgage at a low rate because they are happy to lend to you and it's safe.
So they can get directly from the lender, right?
Yes.
They don't have to struggle or going from here to there, right?
That's right.
We're going for a short break. We're gonna see you after a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. And we're gonna see Mr. Steven again, and we're gonna start talking with him. Mr. Steven, I have another question for you. It's also a very interesting question for all of us. Is there any way to sell the house faster?
Yeah, there is different strategies. I know that our office was one of the very first offices way back. We started with offering to sell people's houses faster. And really the key to selling the house faster is to ask the right price. And if you ask the right price, you'll always get the market value. For example, you can ask for $1, list the house for $1, and you'll get maybe 20, 30, maybe 40 offers. At the end of the day, you will receive the market value of the house. And you're going to get what the market determines is the value of that house. So the secret is that in our industry, it's a phrase that's well known and that many experienced agents know, and that's, if you ask a little less, you get a little more. So by asking less, you're inviting more people to offer on the house. And more people, more exposure, more offers creates more hype and gets you more money than the house is worth. So that's the basic strategy that's been used for the last many years by many of Home Life Bayview salespeople and been very successful.
Which color houses go fast?
Color?
Color, yeah. I was reading like some colors people like more.
Well, yeah, some people like some colors and some people like other colors. And just as many people as there are that many colors. And, you may like a black kitchen and somebody else likes a white kitchen or a silver kitchen. And at the end of the day, there's a customer for everything. You just have to find the right customer. Now, generally speaking, the more neutral attracts the most people. So if you go for a green kitchen, you might find somebody who likes a green kitchen, but if you want to attract the most people to the property, if you have a neutral color, you're likely to get more people that like it.
What is an investment property?
So an investment property is a property that you buy not to live in. You buy it to make money. And many people buy real estate to make money. And those are called investment properties, as opposed to the property where you live, which is called your principal residence. Your principal residence is the place that your family lives or that you live, and you're only allowed one principal residence. And by the way, it's a tax-free property. With investment properties, you're buying to make money, so you could buy a property, rent it out, collect rent. If you paid $1 million for a property and you rented it out, and the rent would be income, so it's an investment, you're getting rent, and when you sell it later at a profit, you have to pay tax on the profit. Whereas the house that you live in, your principal residence, when you sell it, no matter how much money you make, there's no tax. So that's the way the government has decided that, the place you live, they're not taking any tax, you can make money. And that's why many people who have high incomes, their accountants will tell them, buy the largest house you can. Why? Because if the market goes up 10%, well, a $500,000 property will go up $50,000, which is 10% of 500. A $2 million property, if it goes up 10%, will go up $200,000. So if you can afford it, you want to live in the biggest house you can to make the most amount tax-free.
Who are the people who invest? In the few years back, if we go and see, there other international people, they were coming here and putting their money in investment houses, right? And the people who are already living here, they had no houses to live. What do you say about
Yeah,
it?
well, Canada is considered a very safe country. I know that, for example, in China, in Iran, in Russia, financial advisors, if you're Chinese and you go to a financial advisor in China and you say, I have some money and China, I'm not sure if I want to invest. Where should I invest my money? The number one country on all of the lists is Canada. Why? Because it's safe. It's close to the US, so it's never going to be taken over by another country. And it's a democratic country. And so if you have money you want to invest and put away outside of where you live, whether it's in Europe, China, Russia, Middle East, whatever it is, Canada is the number one recommended country to park your money. So a lot of people come or contact agents in our office or like yourself that want to invest in our country to park some money as a safety valve. Just in case something happens in their country, they have some money outside of the country.
So many people are coming from other countries, refugees, and some are international students, and they are ready to buy the houses. The people already here, they have not so many houses to live. So what do you recommend the people who are already here, and how this is impacting our economy and housing market?
Yes, so currently there is a foreign buyer's ban, which means that if you're not a Canadian citizen, you cannot buy a home here. And that is to protect foreigners from buying up the homes and raising the prices. The reality is that it's turned out, according to the latest statistics, that it's not a high percentage of foreigners that are buying. It's people who live here that are buying. And what the Canadian government did is they opened the gates to immigrants. And there are a lot of immigrants coming into Canada because it's such a nice country, it's a safe country. There's a lot of land, it's not crowded, it's a big country, it's close to the US, so it's a protected country. And many people want to come here to start a new life because some countries get overly crowded or have political situations that are uncomfortable. So because of our open gates and so many people coming, last year there was close to 1 million, counting permanent residents, people coming into the country. And that has created a big demand in the real estate market because, of course, we know that when people come here, they don't bring the house on their back. They bring the suitcases, but they can't bring the house. They have to get shelter here. They have to get somewhere to live. And that increases the demand in the real estate market.
We are having very good time with Mr. Steven. If anyone wants to join his brokerage, it's on Bayview in Toronto. You guys can connect to Mr. Steven and he will definitely help you guys out. All right, Steven, thank you again. And I have another question for you. What is the housing market in next 2 years?
What do you want my predictions?
Your predictions, yes.
Well, nobody knows. Let's just start with that. But, we have just come out of a pandemic. And during the pandemic, interest rates, which is one of the big factors that affects our industry, were very low. And they had a big increase in inflation because interest rates were so low. And they've had to raise rates since the pandemic over the last couple of years. And as rates go up, generally, prices tend to stabilize. Right now, prices are going up mainly because of the huge demand and not enough supply. In other words, there's not enough inventory. And that's created a problem for pricing because if there's more buyers than sellers, prices go up. when there's more sellers than buyers, prices go down. But currently, there's more buyers than sellers. One of the factors is the immigration, but it's also that it's like a catch-22, because what happens is a seller wants to sell, but there's nothing to buy, so they don't sell. So that creates a low inventory situation, and when it's low inventory and there's 5 buyers for every house, they bid the price up and prices go up. So my prediction would be prices are going to go up for the next little while and then stabilize.
And some people, they just hold the houses, right? They wait for the good time when the market's going to be better, then they will sell it.
Well, because real estate goes up in the long run, always goes up, never goes completely to zero like the stock, right? So, I mean, if you bought a house, my father bought his first house in 1955 for $20,000. Today, the house is worth $1.5 million. So we know that the prices go up over the long run. And that's why people buy real estate. People with money never sell the real estate because it only goes up.
Okay, I need another answer. You were economics student in uni, right?
I studied some economics courses, yes.
And you can probably predict, can you predict a little bit about the interest rates? Which direction are they going?
Yes, so I mean, even the greatest economists today disagree on what's going to be with the interest rates. I know that the chief economist at Scotiabank thinks that rates are going to be going up because of inflation. So one of the ways they control the rise in prices, not just real estate, but everything, groceries, gas, is by raising the interest rates. Because when they raise the interest rates, everything is, to borrow money is more expensive, and so you have less money. And if you have less money, you buy less. And if there's less demand, the prices settle down. So right now, prices have been settling down, but they're starting to creep up again. So some experts expect that they will raise rates a little bit this year. Most experts, including myself, I'm not an expert, but I feel like rates will just stay where they are till the end of the year, and they're going to see what effect it has had and then make their decisions at that time.
So you mean to say it's helping?
Definitely it's helping, yes.
Helping, okay. Best conclusion is to have a faith in God and Allah, and control your finances ahead of the time, and that's it. Everything will be fine. Do not be panicked. So Stephen, tell me, how do you relax yourself? What are your some hobbies?
Oh, I enjoy reading a lot. Music I love. I play guitar and piano, and my family occupies a lot of my time, and I enjoy what I do. I truly enjoy it. So it's not as though I'm working on a job or on an assembly line or in a factory and that I can't wait till it's over. What I do, I love, and I help a lot of people make a lot of money, and I'm happy to share my knowledge, and I love people, and that's my biggest joy.
As we can see nowadays, not many kids, they are into studies, not into books, they are into YouTubes, into social media, and some of them even I heard to say study is not very important. What do you say? What is your advice to the youth?
Yes, so today's youth, they have a different track, and it's different. Every generation is different, and it's hard for one generation to judge another generation. When I grew up, it was different. We studied, we went to school, we were disciplined. But the effect of the internet and the social media, and it's so many different things affecting the youth today. It's hard to say what's good and what's bad, and I try not to judge. I try to accept people for what they are, and to enjoy whatever they have to offer. And it's the internet changes things a lot. We didn't have internet when we were young, so we had to go to the library to look up things. If we wanted to know something, I had to go to the library, look up the book, and read it. Today, you go click, 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 and you got it, right? So it does change things, and the result of those changes is not evident yet.
Even people, they don't want to see each other. They are like on the phones, they just want to text, and that's it, right?
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Especially after pandemic.
I know, it's true. And sometimes we go to the restaurant and we look around and we see families and the kids are like this, and you know, nobody's talking.
Nobody's talking.
Everybody's on the phones.
Yeah.
Is it good or is it bad? I mean, I don't know. It's different.
It's different, yeah. It's norm now. If you see, everyone is in the same situation.
Yes.
Yes, some people are not ready for this, but some people, they are okay. Let's see.
But the next generation is learning a lot faster than we did because they have access to the internet, which is unlimited knowledge. So it's interesting.
This program has been sponsored by We Donate Foundation. We Donate Foundation is helping the communities for the last 3-4 years. If you guys have any questions or you need any sort of help, please contact to this number. Thank you. So I'm wrapping up my show with this small quote: stay happy and healthy, and sometime your one smile can make someone's day. Thank you, Stephen, to part of my show today, and hopefully we'll meet again in the show and see you again. Bye everyone, love you all.